We've been trained since we were kids to try to put other people first. That's what being a good person is in so many respects, according to our society, to our families, our parents. And maybe it's a turnaround for where we started. As kids, as infants, and as small children, we did put ourselves first, and and that's fine. That was natural. But to be a part of a larger society, we have to start thinking about other people as well. But for many of us, we take that to the extreme and start going too far in that direction and forget about ourselves. So this meditation is something that you can use again and again in different situations. Whenever you have the thought that you're being selfish for putting yourself first, we're going to question this thought, and I'd like you to start by finding a situation. And that's what I mean by you can do this multiple times, because every different situation is going to give you a different experience as you do this work. So look for a time when you wanted to do something and someone wanted to do something different, and you thought that asking for what you wanted or putting yourself first would be selfish in some way. It was not a good idea. It was bad. And it could be that you did end up saying no to that, but you still felt guilty about it. Then you can still do this work. All it needs is a situation where you were thinking, oh, this is selfish, or maybe this is selfish, or you were doubting yourself. I'm going to use a situation where my sister, who I hadn't seen since before COVID, so it was, I don't know, 3-4 years. And we wanted to get together. She's busy, I'm busy. And she had this idea, we could go to a concert in another city. We both have to fly there and meet up there. And as much as I wanted to see my sister, I really didn't want to travel. It's just a purely, just didn't want to travel. And I think it was because I hadn't traveled all during COVID, but I also just started to find that I prefer not traveling. So yeah, I did say no, but I felt a little guilty, like, oh, I shouldn't have put myself first, or it was selfish to do so. So see if you can find a situation where you want to, or you did put yourself first, and then you feel a little guilty about it. And you can pause the recording if you need more time. So let's question the thought. It's selfish to put myself first. So be in your situation. For me, it's an email exchange, and I just said no, and I feel that little guilt. So in that moment, it's selfish to put myself first. Is it true? And you do the same. In your situation, it's selfish to put yourself first. Is it true? And this is just a yes or a no. It may take a minute to get there, but I want you to be as honest as you can. If it's a yes, that's a yes. That's fine. If it's no, just make sure it's an honest no. It's selfish to put yourself first. Is it true? I'm going to go with a yes. That's what it feels like. So if your answer was yes, then go to question 2, which is, can you absolutely know it's true? It's selfish to put yourself first. Are you sure? And again, it's important to be honest. There's something deeper inside that needs to answer these questions, not just your intellect, which can say, oh, yeah, no, it's not true. You need to find that answer within yourself if it's going to be any genuine inquiry. Can you absolutely know it's true? It's selfish to put yourself first. For me, it's a no. So how do you react? What happens when you think that it's selfish? Put yourself first in your situation. What happens to you? Look at the specifics. How do you feel? What happens inside of you? For me, it's that guilty feeling, a little bit of shame. And my heart, even physical heart, feels like it's just closing a little bit, feels tight. My shoulders slump a little bit. I see images from the past of my mom, who apparently never put herself first ever. She was so selfless in many ways. And I feel like I fail compared to that standard. I can see her disapproving, actually. I can remember her saying to me that it's selfish to meditate as much as I did. So I feel that shame. How do you treat yourself when you think that it's selfish to put yourself first? I treat myself like I'm less than, like my sister's more important, or our relationship is more important than any of my wants or needs or preferences. I treat myself like I did something bad. And how do you treat the other person? It's interesting. When you think that it's selfish to put yourself first, how do you treat them? I'm a little more distant. Like, because of that shame that I'm feeling, I don't really want to connect. And I treat my sister like she's judging me. I treat myself like I'm the black sheep of the family. Yep. So who would you be in the same situation if you didn't have the thought that it's selfish to put yourself first? Imagine you said no, or you wanted to not do something, or you wanted to ask for something. You wanted to put yourself first, but imagine that you didn't think that it was selfish to do so. To me, it feels like I am a kid again. I'm just asking without a filter. Oh, I want to go. Oh, no, I don't want to go. It feels really free. And in this situation, if I didn't think that it's selfish to put myself first, I'd be almost proud of myself for standing up and saying my truth. I would see that my relationship with my sister is stable, that I don't have to prove anything, that it was a luxury, and it's okay not to take the luxury of a visit. So who are you in your situation without the thought that it's selfish? Put yourself first in your situation. And notice that guilty thing is not there. There's something relaxed inside. It's kind of integrity. Kind of feels like I'm showing up, letting people see me, kind of vulnerable in a really good way. But I only experience this if I don't have this overlying thought that it's selfish to put myself first. So this is how a thought influences your experience. When you believe it, then guilt and shame. And if you're not thinking it, there's a freedom, there's an innocence like a child, there's an enthusiasm. Yeah, I think I mentioned it, like I kept a little distance from my sister after that. I didn't really call her as much, didn't connect as much. I think without the thought, I would be reaching out in other ways, just calling or texting or connecting in other ways, because there's this feeling of connection. Like I'm actually, what I see is she invited me. That's so cool. And there's no guilt. It's just this free feeling of, yeah, I honored myself and we enjoyed the thought of it. So how would you turn the thought around? It's selfish to put myself first. What's an opposite? Let's try, it's not selfish to put myself first. How could that be? It may look like that by the way we judge everyone in our world, but is it possible that it's not selfish to put myself first? I guess it's integrity. And integrity is not selfish. It does center around the self, but not in a bad way. So what does that word selfish mean? Selfish is kind of a judgment. It's kind of a label. Oh, you're selfish. You're bad. And we're saying, okay, it's not selfish to put myself first. It's not bad. There can be something good about putting myself first that doesn't fit that label. Like, when is it appropriate to put myself first? You wouldn't label that as selfish. Like you put your oxygen mask on first, right? It's putting myself first, but it wouldn't say it's selfish. So in your situation, how is it possible that putting yourself first is not as selfish as you were thinking? In a way, I'm giving myself to my sister. I'm saying, this is where I am. I'm just not feeling like traveling. And that's intimate. That's not selfish. That's a gift. It's like saying, hey, you want to know who I am? I'm here. Unguarded. It's vulnerable. So it's not selfish to put myself first. It has the potential of joining us, connecting us. We could go even further. Another version of this turnaround would be it's selfless to put myself first. I mean, that's like the extreme version here, but is there any possibility for truth in that turnaround? It's selfless. Yeah. Because look what happens. If I don't put myself first, I get so many accolades. I get so much approval from others. My sister would have been so happy. The whole family would smile on it. So if I don't put myself first, I don't get all those things. I don't get all that approval. So in a way, it's selfless to put myself first. It takes courage to put myself first. In fact, what am I trying to do when I'm trying to live in my integrity? I'm listening to something inside of myself. I'm paying attention to that. I'm trying to live by that. And I can't control that. That's something inside that says, no, I'd rather not travel. I can't, I, I, I don't know where that comes from, but I'm listening to it. It's starting to feel like selfless service. The way a disciple would serve a teacher. So this is interesting. It could be selfless to put myself first and risk humiliation, but honor this something that's coming up inside and follow it. We could say there's another turnaround. It's selfish to put others first. And I think it's similar to what we were just seeing. I get things by putting others first. Get their love, I get their approval. It's so easy to be serving others so much, but all the time getting payoff. Like, I'm the best servant. I'm the one who sacrifices myself. I'm great. It's ego, or it can be. So can you find in your situation any hints of that where, like, it might actually be selfish to put others first, the other person first, like where you're getting something for that, like, I'm the one that sacrifices, I'm the martyr. Not to mention, I get you to like me. So this work kind of plays with all different sides of this. It's just not quite so cut and dried when you look at it.